This is the $2,000 Simucube Active pedal that literally lets you feel the brakes in your racing sim by providing pressure against your foot as you drive. This, however, is the 3D Wrap Feeling Upgrade Pro, a now enhanced budget option that does the exact same thing by instead using tiny rumble motors to vibrate the pedal for a fraction of the price. So, is 3D Wrap's version really nearly as good for such a huge discount? But before then, how have 3D Wrap actually managed to improve an already fairly decent set of rumble motors? Well, for a start, as Davide from 3D Wrap explains, 3D Wrap have completely made their own data board from scratch, as the Arduino they previously used had a fair bit of latency and fairly choppy feedback from the motors.
Hello, I'm David from 3D Wrap. I would like to show our products, starting from the 3D Wrap Pro upgrade. This is the evolution of the already existing 3D Wrap Feeling Upgrade. Now it is possible to control until 6 of motor rumbles because 2 channels of this can be split in 2. This is our electronics, our control unit, which is made from scratch to improve the performance of the Haptic motors. So I will check you an example. Very fast spinning, very intense vibration. You can modify the vibration using this extra weight. You can add or remove this to the motors. Also, with the same electronics, you can add 2 wind simulator. There are 2 fans made by us to improve the effect of the wind for open wheel cars.
And as you just heard, this is mostly fixed with this new Feeling Upgrade Pro, as with the freedom of having their own electronics, they've been able to fix a majority of problems those of us that had the original had, and without replacing the motors themselves. Yes, that means that if you had the previous non-pro version, you're able to just swap in the new box and reap all of the benefits. As well as this, they've transitioned from USB-B to USB-C, a welcome upgrade for many, though I personally don't trust USB for its less robust construction and thinner, weaker ports. Another welcome upgrade is the addition of these fan ports, meaning that in addition to the rumble motors, you can also order these with blower fans that simulate wind. Now, while I currently don't have them on hand, I will make a less in-depth updated video on the fans alone. I personally received 3D Wrap's full upgraded kit for the Moza SRP Lite pedals, which includes 6 rumble motors, all the cables, as well as the Upgrade Pro box itself, all for $260. A fairly okay deal considering that you basically get 4 extra butt kickers as well as the box and the pedal motors. And apart from the pedals being screwed in place, every other rumble motor is stuck on using these 3M adhesive strips. And while I have had issues with these coming undone after a while, most likely due to my cable management pulling these motors a bit too much, I do still appreciate the mostly painless installation and stainless removal. Once mounted, routed, and plugged in, you'll have to download by far one of my favorite sim racing softwares, SimHub, and go through with the installation process. And once you have, you might think that it'll be a pain with all the motors to set them up in game, etc. But actually it's as simple as just going into the Shaken Motors tab in SimHub, going to Motors Output and turning on the 3D Wrap Feeling Upgrade Pro. Inside of SimHub, you're able to change anything from the gain, strength of the motors to each individual effect, and there are a lot of them, to even making your own, if you're tech savvy enough. There is simply so much in SimHub that I would spend ages yapping on about. But if you want the most plug-and-play experience, 3D Wrap have some ready-made presets available on their website, and after tweaking, I've created my own presets that you can find in my Discord server links down below. And just like 3D Wrap have upgraded their Feeling upgrades to be pro, how about you upgrade your subscription feed by subscribing to Simpulse? Literally 99% of you aren't subscribed, so why not? It's completely free, helps me out a bunch with the algorithm, and helps me secure more of these reviews. P.S. Thank you for the 500 subscribers. Thank you. With my awful plugs aside, how do these actually fare out on circuit as well as out on the open roads? Well, for a start, these guys pack a punch, as at full blast, these can very easily output so many vibrations and sound that without headphones at full blast, it's quite easy to hear them.
Yeah. And it's one that you might be able to hear it.
But if you don't push these to the max and instead use them at a more reasonable amount, the same rumble motors instead on the Feeling Upgrade Pro pack a lot of detail in comparison to the non-pro model. In stark contrast to before, it's definitely easier now to feel the difference between effects, such as the tire slip and lockup effect, as well as impact rumbles having a harder punch to them when you inevitably pay more attention to the vibrations than the road. In every sim I tried, the feedback quality seemed to be roughly the same across the board, with the only real issue that I found being that in iRacing specifically there is a lot less information for SimHub to go off of, meaning that a large amount of effects just straight up don't work. Effects like ABS and traction control do indeed work though, but if you intend on buying these for a competitive advantage in iRacing, you'll probably have to pay 4 figures for a set of active pedals. In titles like BeamNG, Assetto Corsa, and EAWRC, these have been so much fun. And overall at first, the experience is like that of trying a direct drive wheelbase for the first time. Absolutely jaw-dropping the first time, and you feel like it's absolutely necessary afterwards. My only real gripe with these, and it's a fairly noticeable one, can you quieten down please? The noise. On full blast or while going at a certain RPM, these motors resonate in a very noisy fashion. If you aren't touching your pedals while the pedal motors vibrate, and I noticed this with the originals too, they tend to make a very distracting rattle, even with headphones on. Now looking at other offerings out there, nothing really comes close in terms of value for the sheer amount of rumble motors and value you get if you choose to install the optional wind generator fans. 3D Rap's closest competition would most likely be smaller third-party solutions from the likes of Etsy, eBay, and AliExpress, or Simagic with their HPR kit that comes with only 3 rumble motors for $210 US. For the same configuration for the 3D Rap Feeling Upgrade Pro, you're looking at around $190 US. If that isn't a fair value, I don't know what is. As well as this, you have the convenience of just simply choosing what pedals you want, as well as the insanely cheap motor replacements. Like what are these prices? So, with all of that considered, would I still recommend the 3D Rap Feeling Upgrade Pro in its current state? Well, in comparison to other offerings out there, this simply has so much value for the price. From the increased detail and power, to the insanely cheap motor replacements and upgrades, to my personal favorite, just the pure passion that 3D Rap puts into these behind the scenes. And after first speaking to Davide from 3D Rap at the Adiazzi Sim Expo myself, as well as now trying this in person, I can definitely recommend the 3D Rap Feeling Upgrade Pro to those of you looking to add a bit of immersion to your simulator setup, both without the hassle and without breaking the bank. Hey, editing down here. I recently launched channel memberships for those of you that want to help support the channel for a small cost. Memberships start at only £1, and members get a whole bunch of special perks like getting to see videos like this early. Thank you very much, and I'll see you next time.